Again, summer just continues right on here in San Diego, but as kids start to go back to school and the weather will start to turn eventually here, a lot of folks really do suffer with the summertime blues, and they start to get a little bit, in some cases, depressed over the fact that the good times are over and it's time to get back to work. Well, we called in our good friend, Dr. Aleksandra Drecun, this morning here to talk about that. It's a real thing. It's not in people's heads. Well, it's in their heads, but it's a real thing.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many perks that come along with summer, and part of that is the wonderful weather, the warmth, the daylight that continues for longer periods of time during the day. And then because the weather's so great, people are outdoors, they're engaging activity, they're having greater social connection, they're building a sense of community, and there's a sense of sadness when that period ends.
So maybe the first tip, and again, you're the doctor, you tell me, the first tip is acceptance. Realizing that, yes, okay, it's normal.
It's normal. Anytime there's an end or a loss to something that we enjoy, there's a feeling of sadness, and that's a normal human experience, which
Sure.
we need to normalize, and we just need to ride that wave and know that as that feeling comes, it will eventually leave.
Does it help to verbalize that, to actually maybe, you know, to say to a friend or your partner, you know, to actually say, you know what, I feel a little sad, and actually talk about the feeling? And actually, does that help normalize it rather than just thinking it in your head?
Sure, I think it's great to talk to someone about it. We know that being able to connect with someone and receive that support, and you know, if somebody says, you know, I feel the same way too, it kind of helps even normalize it a little bit more. So that is a very helpful thing.
Okay, accept change. That sounds like a broad piece of advice for
Anything.
Anything.
Right, right. And it is, because oftentimes we find that we like what's familiar and we want to resist change and we want to push back, but all we're doing is prolonging our suffering. So it's better just
like cutting it off a little bit at a time. Just go ahead and, yeah, okay.
So it's better just to accept that there is a change in the season, just as there are going to be in other areas of our life, but know that there's going to be a new opportunity that's going to present itself with fall. You know, there's good perks that come along with fall as well.
You know, that's one of the, it would seem to be one of the keys to really good mental health, is always looking forward to something.
Correct.
You know, you're always looking forward to, and you've got a goal and a plan and something. So, you know, maybe starting to plan wintertime activities. And thinking, okay, now what am I going to do when it gets really cold? Oh, I know.
Sure, I think it's helpful to think ahead. And you know what's nice is the fall is that period of time. It's that interim where we can start to plan for winter. But what's nice is that the slowing down is sometimes also nice. The cooling down of the weather, you know, we tend to be a little bit over-energized with summer. And also it slowly, I think, kickstarts the holiday season.
Right. So start, maybe focus on the positive things. Exercise, we've talked about this over and over and over again, going all the way back to, you know, my grandmother telling me that she wasn't sure, she thought it might be chemical, but she was pretty sure it made you feel better if you had the blues to go out and work up a good sweat. Turns out she was more than right.
Right, Grandma was on point. Yes, we know that exercise is wonderful, especially not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally, because it releases all those feel-good chemicals. And also, if we want to relish a little bit of that summertime spirit, it's a nice way to exercise outdoors and still kind of feel the connection to summer that we enjoyed.
Now, if somebody really is really starting to dwell on this and they're not really able to let it go, and most folks are going to say, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, a little blue because summer's over, but you know, I'll get over it. But if some folks are really hanging on to that and it becomes a little oppressive to them, at what point should they come talk to somebody like you?
Well, I think it's really important for viewers to differentiate between something that's just temporary in a phase versus something that could be more serious. And one aspect to look at is duration. If sadness is starting to last more than 2 weeks, that's a sign that it could be something more problematic. And then if there's other symptoms that come along with that, such as feelings of worthlessness, not being interested in pleasurable activities, feelings of sadness, having difficulty concentrating, feelings of low self-worth.
All signals that maybe they should seek a little extra help.
Right.
Doctor, thank you so much. I feel better.
Good.
Okay. I'll go run around the block and exercise now. Always good to see you. Dr.
Likewise,
Aleksandra Drecun.
thank you.
You can get in touch with her personally if you'd like to talk more.